Hello, guys. Welcome back to the MMASucka channel. I'm joined today by a very recognizable face, Nathaniel The Prospect Wood. Nathaniel, how are things?
Yeah, they're as good as they can be, mate.
As good as
Obviously,
they
it's
can be.
yeah, another shit situation with another injury and a crazy freak accident injury. Um, but I'm trying to have positive mindset. I'm healthy. I'm alive. I've got a family around me, so there's a lot worse going on in the world.
Yeah, for sure. Obviously, what you're alluding to there, in case I don't know why people wouldn't know, but you were supposed to be competing in London, upcoming UFC 286 against a fellow Brit. And from what I understand, you're sort of friends outside of the octagon, but you're supposed to be putting on a great, entertaining fight against Lerone Murphy. And we suffered, like you say, a freak injury. When I heard about it last week, I was a little bit confused. Usually you get the news that someone's out of a fight due to, they've pulled a muscle here, or that they've taken a knock here, they've broken this bone, they've broken that bone. But if you could just talk to us a little bit about the injury and how it actually occurred, obviously, because we saw you released the footage on your Instagram. It's a little bit confusing to see that sort of takedown attempt that you went for. So can you just talk to us a little bit about the injury itself and how it actually came about?
Yeah, so basically in the gym, where the mats, how we have the mats, we have like a wooden trim that goes around it. But the mat's higher than the wooden trim. But obviously, what's happened is as I've landed my knee, it's kind of pushed the mat underneath the wooden trim. So all it is just like like a table lip, and I've
Hmm.
caught my knee on it. But as I've gone at such an impact, what it's done is it's obviously sliced my knee and degloved the skin. So I remember just looking and thinking that didn't feel right. It didn't really hurt, if I'm honest, but I looked down, and because I had my knee bent at the time, I could just see bone. It was like, shit, what's happened there? And I put the picture up. Obviously, in the picture that I put up, it looks a lot better than what it was because at that point I'd had my leg straightened. The doctor cleaned everything up. But yeah, in hindsight, it's just a big gash across my knee. And the annoying thing is that if this had happened, let's say a month ago, I could have probably still competed because I'm only going to be out for a few weeks. But unfortunately, this timing, I can't be out for a few weeks, a month out from my fight. Um, so it's just gutting, mate. I was in tears, man. I was like, I honestly feel cursed. I'm like, it's just one thing after another. And I would be lying if I said that I haven't had thoughts in my head where I'm just like, I'm done with this game, man. It's just forever. It's like the highest of the highs and the lowest of the lows. But at the moment, it's just like lows all the time.
Hmm.
And it's a kick in the nuts, man. It really is. Like, it's every time I feel like I've got a bit of momentum going, there's another bump in the road. And it's really starting to grate on me, if I'm honest, but I'm going to use that kind of anger and disappointment. I'm going to use that to fuel me, and yeah, I wouldn't want to be my next opponent, that's for sure.
Yeah, for sure. And I think that's what's going to make when you do get to the top of the game so much more satisfying. You've had all these setbacks. If it was just easy going, I don't think you'd appreciate it as much. You of course you'd appreciate it, but you wouldn't appreciate it as much when you do get there that you've had all these setbacks, and it's almost sort of, I don't want to say one of those things because it's a difficult situation for yourself. I'm obviously not in it myself, but
Mhm.
to be such a freak, no one's to blame. Like you say, it's just such a freak accident. It must be really frustrating for you. Like you say, you're not out for too long, which obviously from our perspective, the fans' perspective, media perspective, and of course from your perspective is a good thing. So what's the recovery like now? Is it just a case of sort of just just letting it heal, letting it do its thing? There's no sort of, is there any rehab that you can be doing for it? Because it's a sort of a gash. It's not really much you can do, I imagine.
So from what the doctor said, I basically have to wait for the stitches obviously to come out because at the moment where it's just under the joint, if I'm moving the knee, it just open it back up. Where it was such a deep injury, I do have to kind of see how it is once I'm back in the gym because we don't know if there was any sort of tendon, ligament, nerve damage. I don't know the correct terms,
Hmm.
but from what the doctor looked at, and this was just A&E, so this wasn't anything spectacular. she just said, look, it doesn't look like there's any tendon or ligaments hanging out, so we're just going to stitch it up, and hopefully it should just be the case of once the wounds healed, you're back to normal. So I did say to her as I was on the table, I said, look, can I still fight? And she said, oh, in 5 weeks you might be all right. And I was like, okay, so tomorrow I can jog and keep the weight down. And she was like, no, you can't, you can't move your leg for 2 weeks at least till the stitches are out. So I think she thought, I didn't need to train for the fight and I could just walk in on a day's notice. But yeah, unfortunately, I can't run, I can't jump, I can't do anything. If this was on my forearm or something, I'd be able to work around it. But unfortunately, I can't even sit on a spin bike and keep half fit. So, and obviously at this level, you can't be taking a fight on a couple of weeks' notice.
Yeah, for sure. Especially when you're on the kind of run that you are now at featherweight. You're 2-0 at featherweight, 2 dominant performances against, Charles Rosa was obviously last match you missed out as well. So that must be a frustrating thing. Back in London for the first time. Luckily, the UFC came back to London in July. From my perspective, I think that was maybe your best performance to date against Charles Rosa. It was just a complete shutout. Upper weight class. There's always going to be questions for everyone. Like this weekend we saw obviously Volkanovski move up a weight class. There's always going to be questions. Is the weight going to transfer? Completely, dominant performance. You then go Charles Jourdain in Paris, so obviously we're talking Europe again. So it's, we're still getting the sort of the prospect army, as it were, over to Paris. Another dominant performance, and then obviously it's another step up in competition to face Lerone in what should have been next month. So it must be frustrating for you. When are you looking at getting sort of back in? Obviously you said, you got to see how it goes and whatnot, but are you looking to get back in there as soon as possible? Or are you looking to maybe give it a little bit of time to really let that knee heal?
No, I want to be back in there as soon as possible. That's one of the main reasons I moved up to featherweight, was so I can be active. That's all I want to do. I enjoy this sport. I love it. I don't like the weight cutting side of things. So I thought, move up a weight. I'm going to enjoy it. I'm going to go in. And as you can see, in them last 2 fights, I was enjoying myself.
Yeah.
I was actually in the fight. Instead of rushing and thinking, I need to finish, or let's get in and out. This was a fight, obviously, with Lerone that was, the winner's getting ranked as far as I'm concerned. And, I was feeling so good. And that's the annoying thing as well, is that the camp has been spectacular. I was like, right, Lerone's getting it. I'm getting ranked, and move on to the top 15, top 10, and start, climbing for the goal shot. But here we are.
So is that a fight with Lerone something that you're looking? From what I've seen, he hasn't been rebooked for London yet. I don't know if they're looking to try and get him a replacement fighter. Obviously, now that you've had to withdraw, if not, is that a fight that you'd still be interested in? Obviously, it won't be in London, which is gutting from a UK fans point of view. But is that maybe are you looking to get rescheduled with Lerone, or are you looking to maybe go a different path?
So if I'm honest, just whoever the UFC give me, there honestly isn't anyone that I'm like, I want to fight that guy. Stylistically, me and Lerone, we was gonna, put on a show for the fans. So yeah, I'd rather avoid the kind of boring, I'm gonna take you down and lay on you style fighters. Obviously everyone knows me. I like to, have a fight. So for me, stylistically, Lerone was great. That was a match that had Fight of the Night written all over it.
Yeah, for
although
sure.
I wasn't intending on it being back and forth. I was going to look for a performance of the night. And whatever the UFC want to do, obviously, I hope Lerone gets matched. I'm sure he will. It's still like just over 4 weeks now. And I'm sure he'll do the business. I'm obviously going to be supporting him. Hopefully he goes in, does the business. And if the UFC want to rebook it, hopefully we can get that going and see who the better featherweight in the UK is.
You got Jack Shaw to contend with up at featherweight now, obviously. His first matchup at featherweight. So from a UK perspective, like I say, you got Arnold Allen on Max Holloway. It's an exciting time for UK MMA, especially at 145. And I think having with yourself making that move up to 145, like you say, you can be more active. So these are fights that are these fights, sorry, that you're going to be looking at in the future? You know, maybe Jack Shaw, if he gets a win in London, obviously the rematch, or I say the rematch, the rescheduled fight with Lerone, and maybe further down the line, looking at the top of the division, like with Arnold Allen. Are these fights that excite you, or is it you want to prove that the UK is the best fighting nation on the planet against other nationality guys?
Yeah, so I don't think, ideally, I don't think the UFC like to have UK versus UK. Obviously, in London, they're trying to probably keep everyone happy, and there's a lot of featherweights. So, it just kind of, I guess, made sense to put me and Lerone together. But yeah, at the end of the day, this is a one-man sport. There's only that number one shot. I want to be the number one in the world, and to do that, I've got to beat whoever's in front of me. Arnold Allen, I like him. I get on really well with him. So, hopefully we don't have to fight, but who knows? One day, maybe that's what happens. But at the moment, he's obviously, as far as I'm concerned, next in line for a title shot. Obviously a win over Max Holloway should put him that number one spot contender. Jack Shaw, he's obviously just moved up to the weight, so let's see how he gets on and see if he, even gets the win. And yeah, as I say, I hope obviously Lerone does well. I hope he gets the win, and that's something that we could potentially rebook. Then great. If not, cool. Let's go and train together. This is at the end of the day, there's no animosity. This is a sport. We're no different from footballers playing against another football team. It might look to obviously other people like, oh, this is a bit aggressive or violent, but we do it every day. Every day I'm sparring and training with my teammates. So technically, my teammates and sparring partners are punching me in the head at most days, and it's not much different come fight night. A lot of people obviously like to put on that show of we hate each other, but at the end of the day, this is just play fighting, and if whoever it is can get it.
Are you still going to be in attendance at 286? Obviously, it's not too far a travel for you, by from what I understand.
Honestly, mate, I don't think I'm gonna. I can, because the last one, obviously, I went front row. The UFC looked after me, but if I'm honest, man, it's not nice.
No, I bet, yeah.
When I was sitting there watching the card, it was, I don't know what the feeling would say, gutting, just heartbreaking. It just really, I would like to go and watch the card, but not when I was supposed to be on the card. It's bittersweet. So, if I'm honest, I think I might just swerve it, unless obviously the UFC say, look, can you come and we want to do some sort of, PR stuff with you, then great. But if not, I don't think I'm going to go, mate. I think I'm going to stay at home and sob. And
well, let's hope that the guys put on a good card in March, and then maybe the UFC return again in July like they did last year, and we can get you out on that card with any luck.
Yeah, that would be nice.
It's already, although you only competed in London last July, it's already been too long since we've seen you compete in London. So with any luck, looking further ahead, obviously now you are like we've been going on about, you are a featherweight now. I don't know if you caught the co-main event this weekend between Yair Rodriguez and Josh Emmett, and I just wanted to, if you did catch it, I just wanted to get a couple of your thoughts on that, because as we saw, Yair Rodriguez looked pretty good.
If
it's
I'm
your
honest,
division
mate,
now, isn't it? So
no, I didn't. I haven't caught up with any of it yet. Obviously, I've seen the results and I've seen the highlights of all the fights, but I need to sit down and actually watch it. Believe it or not, even with an injury, I've been mega busy. But unfortunately, I haven't actually seen all the fights, so I will have to catch up. And then
like I said, Yair Rodriguez looked good, but it's one of those where I think the styles make fights. So I think it's one of those where your style, it can be a bad matchup for even Volkanovski. Do you know what I mean? It's that kind of style where it's well rounded. It's not one dimensional, which I think is obviously important.
Yeah, I obviously haven't seen the latest fights, but from their fights before, you're really like, I think I'd smash these guys. Of course, people are going to laugh and say he's the interim champ and you're not even ranked, but sod all that. I've been injured for like the last 3 years. Do you know what I mean? Like,
exactly. Yeah.
Imagine if I hadn't have been injured, where I could possibly be. And in the UFC, there's, say you're not ranked and you are number one in the world, it's a very, very small gap. Everyone has the ability to knock each other out. Everyone has the submission ability to, put on submissions. It's such a close sport that, anything could happen on any day. And a lot of it is you throw the dice, you roll the dice and you hope for the best. And people will deny that. People say no, but it's bullshit. You know, there's a lot of luck involved in this sport. Obviously, the more you train, the better you are, the healthier you are, increases your risk. Increases your luck. But at the end of the day, you know, anyone has the ability to beat, you know, someone. So I could go in there tomorrow with Volkanovski. Who knows what happens? You know, it's a tough fight. Of course, he's the pound for pound #1 in the world. After beating Lerone, I wanted to call out Korean Zombie, not on a disrespectful one. You know, I just think what an honor it would be to fight a legend in Korean Zombie. You know, I was watching him before I was even training in mixed martial arts. And yeah, I just think that I'm better than these guys. But only time will tell. You know, I put the work in the gym. Unfortunately, I can only prove it when I'm in the cage. And yeah, I'm injured. So it's my fault. So, you know, I'll have to, I guess, put up and shut up and just wait for my moment. But yeah, you know, I believe that if I haven't been injured for these last couple of years out of competition, I would be well up there by now with them guys and, you know, stating my name in the division.
Yeah, that's the frustrating thing, I bet, because, you know, like you say, you weren't looking beyond Lerone, but you obviously believed in your own skill, and then you were looking at further up the division with like you say, a Korean Zombie who, yeah, a win over him would I mean, if you haven't already got the eyes on you, would definitely certainly get the eyes on, you know, former two-time title challenger. Is that, you know, I really do think after you said that, I wasn't really thinking past you versus Lerone, but now I can't get that thought of you and Zombie stood across each other come the end of the year. So with any luck, you get that one.
Look at it like Sean O'Malley. Who would have thought he's going to win over Peter Yan? You know, obviously exactly. I thought Peter Yan won, but you know, people wrote him off way before the fight. You know, there's fights, and I don't know where he was ranked, but he was up here, and Peter Yan's like #1. And now look, do you know what I mean?
Yeah,
He's just
exactly.
got himself kind of in next line for a title shot. So, you know, I've had I don't even know how many fights I've had now. I've had like 25 professional fights, I think. So I've got my experience, you know, I've got more experience than a lot of these guys in the top 10 division. Yes, I haven't beaten technically the ranked guys, but that's not my fault. You know, I can only fight who the UFC give me. Yeah, Charles Jourdain, as far as people were concerned, just beat Shane Burgos, and he was ranked, I think, 13th or 14th. And then I just smashed Charles Jourdain. So where does that put me, you know? But yeah, I can only obviously, it's my own fault. You know, I went for a takedown and I got injured, and, you know, I'm not sitting here moaning or complaining saying, well, I'm not ranked or anything. But do I believe that I can compete with the best in the world? 100%. I'm 14 years in this game. So, you know, 14 years and 25 professional fights isn't enough experience, then I don't know what is.
Yeah, for sure. And as you said, obviously it's, you know, it's frustrating with you being sort of sat on the sidelines, but you're not, and, you know, you're not being able to train and stuff, but you're not just sort of sat on the sidelines kind of twiddling your thumbs, as it were. You announced this week about your the launch of the new Prospect Academy through your website. So talk to us a little bit about that and how people can get involved in that. I'll link it down below in the description. But yeah, talk to us a little bit about that and what you've got going on with that.
Yeah, so this is the problem with me. You know, I can't sit still for more than 5 minutes. So something I've been doing for the last few years is my own clothing brand. I'm wearing it now, you know, Prospect Apparel. It's something I've been doing with a friend of mine who I've been friends with since school. And yeah, it's something I started off just to keep me busy, because in between training sessions, I can't just sit still. You know, I can't watch telly. I get half an hour in and I'm like, you know, twiddling my thumbs. I need to do something. So, you know, I'm trying to plant seeds now that I can fall back on when my career ends, you know, and it scares the hell out of me. You know, when I retire, there's no money coming in. So I'm trying to use my money wisely, and I'm always into my clothing. So I've started a clothing brand, and I'm trying to build a community. So what I'm doing now is we've built the Prospect Academy, which is going to be on the Prospect Apparel site. It's a membership. So it's free to join, and then there's going to be a small fee for like the price of a coffee. You know, what if people want to stick with it, and it's going to have online tutorials of all myself and my team, you know, all my my coaching team that people have said to me, I wish I lived close so that I could train with them. Now you can technically, you know, online we're going to be going through with different coaches, you know, different obviously drills that people can do, pad work, and it gives people an insight to my training. So, you know, my strength conditioning, for example, he's going to be showing people what they can do at home, but also what I do and why I do it, you know, why we're doing certain reps and certain sets, and, you know, just basic advice. We're going to have my nutritionist, my sports physio, my yoga instructor, you know, we're going to have the full lot. And obviously they're all going to be in Prospect Apparel clothing. We're going to be doing so many other things. Like every month we're going to do a giveaway to whoever's a member, whether that's UFC signed gloves. The first prize is going to be UFC London tickets, and as I say, for the price of a coffee. So what I'm hoping this is going to do is build a community, you know, build something people can be a part of, because why are you going to buy my clothes over Adidas or Nike? You know, you're not necessarily going to. So if I can provide something for you, something that benefits you, you know, the members are going to get their forever discount code, which we're never going to give out discount code again unless you're a member. Free shipping. You know, honestly, for the price of a coffee, you're going to have so much, but you've got to be a part of the clothing, and you've got to be a part of the team to get these sort of benefits. And yeah, it's just something I kind of come up with, and for me, it's fun. You know, I want to be active, and, you know, I can't sit still. So as I'm saying, if I'm not training, you know, I'm just trying to do something mentally to improve my life, you know, and provide for my family and just stay busy, man. You only get one life, and I'm trying to do the best I can with it.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, don't be surprised to see my name on the members list there as and when I get my stuff in order, because it sounds like a great thing to be a part of. And, you know, like you say, I think that's going to be, you know, I wouldn't be surprised, you know, to see a load of people sign up, because at the end of the day, you know, people don't just want to see, you know, you guys, the fighters, for 15 minutes or less in the cage once every 3 months. You know, I mean, for me speaking personally, it's the training aspect that I don't know an awful lot about. It's the sort of it's getting that personal connection with, you know, like you say, you, the fighter, and then obviously the brand that you've got sort of behind you. So, you know, it's really exciting times for yourself.
Oh,
And
we're going to have backstage access as well. So we're going to have it's almost like an OnlyFans, but without me getting naked. You know, we're going to have content that won't be up anywhere else. It's just for the members, and I don't know, it's just something to kind of, as I say, provide for my close supporters and friends and fans and whatnot. And, you know, the little bit of subscription money that people are going to pay is to keep everything running. You know, I've got to pay for videos and photos and coaching, so I can't do it for free forever. And yeah, you know, I think it's going to be exciting. I'd like to think that people are going to be involved, and cool. It's free to join as well. I think we're going to do a week free or 2 weeks free. So feel free to join. And if you don't like it, just unsubscribe. You won't get charged. We ain't going to take any money off you. And you could still potentially win a signed UFC gloves for free if you want to join and then unjoin. And, you know, but yeah, I don't know. If people are tight and they would rather try and, you know, scam us out of a couple of quid, then go for it. But yeah, I'm excited for it. And as I say, it's keeping me busy, mate. So, you know, I need to keep busy to keep mentally sane.
Yeah, for sure. So yeah, guys, if you're listening, you are interested in that, like I said, I'll link it down below. It's all over Nathaniel's socials. So yeah, just go there, subscribe, and get access like no one else gets, which is obviously an exciting thing. So yeah, just wrapping it up, Nathaniel, what can we sort of expect from you for the rest of 2023? Obviously, it hasn't quite gone to plan so far, so, you know, onwards and upwards, but yeah, what can we expect for the rest of the year for yourself?
Just expect the comeback to be as good as the last one. You know, obviously the Charles Rosa and the Charles Jordan fight, I think people enjoyed it. You know, I think that was 2 performances of the nights, and yeah, you know, if I'd done that after a 2-year layoff, you know, what's it going to be after another layoff? So yeah, expect just need to be active when I can, man. You know, I want to fight. I'm not trying to get out of fighting. You know, I had someone message me and went, "Oh, you're obviously scared of Lerone," and I was like, "Come on, man." You know what I mean? Really? I'm in the UFC. I've had 25 pro fights, and pulling out with a massive gash on my knee. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, I did have my suspicions that you purposefully cut your knee open to avoid the fight, you know. So these
Yeah,
things,
why not? Yeah, I know.
I'm
I've got the
joking, of
missus to do
course.
it. Yeah,
Yeah,
but you know
exactly.
the thing that got me as well is everyone was blaming my dog. I was like, come on, man, you think you think my dog's gonna bite me like that? Bloody hell! I haven't got a bear. I've got a Belgian Shepherd. But yeah, just expect me to be competing when I can and as much as I can. And yeah, I'm looking to come in and really make a statement in these featherweight divisions and, you know, show people that it's not always about size in the fight. You know, it's the speed and, you know, time. There's so much to it, man. You know, but people always think that the bigger man in the fight's going to win. Look at Volkanovski and, you know, Makachev the other day. You know, I haven't seen the fight, as I say, but a lot of people were saying Volk won, and look at the size difference.
Yeah,
So,
exactly. Yeah.
you know, fighters need to stop killing themselves making silly weight cuts and, yeah, join me in going up a weight and
Yeah, for
enjoy your
sure.
life a bit more, man. You know, I'm really enjoying my life now that I can actually eat and refuel like an athlete's supposed to. And I'm not spending, you know, 6 weeks in my camp just moping around like a zombie. And yeah, you know, I'm looking forward to the future. I feel like I've got a bright future in this sport, and I just need to stay uninjured.
Well, best of luck with the rest of your recovery and your year. Thank you for your time, and yeah, we'll hope to speak again soon.
Yeah, thank you for having me.